Hey y'all, welcome back for some of you. My name is Betty Bucket. Obviously that's not my real name. I have to keep my name protected to protect the guilty. But this is Betty Bucket's Business Bites. And today we're going to cover navigating the federal procurement system called beta.sam.gov. This system is really not all that user-friendly. And so I get a lot of questions and a lot of requests like, how do I do this? And how do I do that? And how do I navigate this system? Well, honestly, you really just want to play around with it. Know this, you probably can't break it. Now, if anybody can break a portal, it would be me. So don't worry about it. Don't stress over it. The warning I do have for you on this one, all of these systems are different, and although they have the same premises, they are very different. They have different access portals, they have different ways of logging in, and so it can get really, really confusing. Try not to stress over that. This particular bite is going to be covering specifically, how do you find your buyer with the federal government? And so one of the first steps in pursuing opportunities with the government is to find specifically who buys your product or service. Now, one of the really cool things or fun things about government contracting, it's all public record. So you just need to know where to go. See, the person listed on the announcement is your buyer. And typically buyers are responsible for buying groups and services based on the classification system that agency uses. And most agencies have more than one buyer. And so when you have an agency that has more than one buyer, you have, they're responsible for purchasing different things. So for example, if you have an agency that has 5 buyers, all the requests coming in from the end users for office supplies are going to go to this buyer. All the requests for, say, building maintenance services is going to go to this buyer. So if you sell something along the lines of office supplies, then you're going to want to identify who this person is. If you provide services such along the lines of facilities maintenance, then you want to go to this person. So you want to find that person who's responsible for buying your product or service, because here's reality. 90% of the contracts that get awarded, and I don't care who tells you what, this is real life, this is reality, 90%, give or take, do not require a public bid. They don't get publicized. They're issued either through a simplified acquisition or what they call sole sourcing. And the way you can navigate and be eligible or make yourself more attractive on those types of opportunities is by finding out who your buyer is and finding out what they need from you. So today's bite is, how do you find your buyer with the federal government? And we're going to be using the primary portal for federal purchasing, and that is beta.sam.gov. And it's not pretty. So this is where you are. This is your beta.sam.gov. This is the primary melting pot for all announcements with regards to the federal government. And so this is kind of like the melting pot. A few months ago, about a year ago, this used to be fbo.gov or FedBizOps, and now they transitioned this. Ideally, what they're trying to do is they're trying to merge everything into one system, which whenever they try to do that, it's like ridiculous. It's just, things don't work and they're really hard to navigate, and just be patient and try not to get too wrapped up. Try not to get too sucked into that rabbit hole, because before you know it, you'll be having tea with the Mad Hatter, and it's not fun. So for this purpose, we're going to really be focusing on, how do I find my buyer with the federal government? And you want to do that by going to beta.sam.gov, and you scroll down, and what you're going to see here is right here, search contract opportunities. When we do that, when we click on that, that's going to bring us to the search portal. And again, I'm not going to say this is user friendly, but the more you play around with it, the more comfortable you'll get. And so there is a number of different ways that you can search. You can search, by active only, by keywords. I don't usually worry about the inactive or updated dates over here or response dates. You can even focus or take a look at specific agencies. So for example, if you wanted to find out specific buyers for the Department of Veterans Affairs, you can actually put that right in here. Department of Veterans Affairs. So you can even narrow your searches down even more. You can look at types of notices, which includes, sources sought, pre-solicitations, set-asides. We'll cover that in another Bytes video at another time. But for right now, let's just look at who are the buyers in the grand scheme of things. Another way you can search is by the Nix Code. So this is North American Industry Classification System. This is the primary classification system that the federal government utilizes. And there's like 9 or 10 different types of classifications. So some agencies use SIC codes, standard industry classifications. Some utilize UNSPSC codes. It just really depends on the agency and what you're looking at, searching and what they're using. So for this example, we're gonna do something really simple. We're gonna do the word janitorial, and I wanna take a look at, okay, I wanna know all of the opportunities that have been classified under that specific Nix code. And I scroll up here. Alrighty, and so here's one, Anchorage TSA lease space janitorial office cleaning. Now, I don't care about this opportunity. I really don't. But what I do care about is the person that is buying these services. Another thing I want to point out to you, because earlier I mentioned that only about 90% of the contracts that are awarded get publicly announced. Well, I want to justify that. See, the federal government is worldwide. I mean, we are throughout the entire world, and there are buildings all over the world. That is the responsibility of the federal government. Now, if we look at currently, there are only 551 current active open notices. So that means to me, there's got to be more need for janitorial services. But I just wanted to kind of notate that for you. So what I want to do is I want to click on here. And again, I don't necessarily care about this opportunity. When I open this up, here's what I really want you to focus on. First and foremost, I want you to notice here, here's your department, which is General Services Administration. And this is for the Public Building Service. And this is the office. So here we have an agency. We have an office. We have a department. Now, we want to scroll down. And I want to notate also, want to show you that this is for janitorial services. So now, if I'm a janitorial services company, I now have an agency, I have a department, I have an office that buys my janitorial services. Here's the big one. We continue to scroll down here. And look what we have here. Tracy is your buyer. That's it. What you want to do, you want to find buyers with the federal government that are responsible for buying your type of product or service and pick up the phone and say, hello, is it me you're looking for? Hey, that's it. That's how you found your buyer using the federal site, beta.sam.gov. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like, a thumbs up. Hey, if you could provide a comment, if you're looking for something or you have a question or you'd like me to do a video on something else, like, hey Betty, how do you find your buyer with the state of California? Or hey Betty, how do you find your buyer with the state of Texas? Or anything else, like, hey Betty, can you show us how to register in SAM? Whatever it is. Let write it in the comments. I'll create a video just for you. Here's to you, Betty Bucket Business Bites. Have a great day.